All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here on the Harmless Dave channel, talking about real music stuff and doing it in real time for a few real people out here, just like you and just like me. So, some people are really going to hate this video. Just let you know. I'm going to be talking about AC/DC and their latest leg of their Power Up tour, US tour. They are out there filling up and selling out large stadiums. Hard to get tickets to go see AC/DC right now. But I've got some thoughts on the band, what they represent, and Brian Johnson and his sudden vocal recovery compared to last year. It's a number of things I want to talk about in this video. And some of it's going to be music related, some of it's going to be culturally relevant, hopefully, and other stuff is just my own personal opinion on the situation. So, first question I have is the current AC/DC tour a deep fake? What's a deep fake? In case you don't know what that is, there are people my age and older who aren't up on all the lingo that the media puts out there, especially social media. But a deep fake, this is the definition: images, videos, or audio that has been edited or generated using artificial intelligence, AI-based tools, or AV editing software. So here's the deal. Brian Johnson is 77 years old. Okay? He's singing music that in some cases is at least 47 years old. If he's doing any of the Bon Scott stuff, which I think he is, it's going to be 50 years old, maybe older than that. He was 30 years old when they recorded Back in Black, right? I think. Let me do the math here. 45 or maybe 32. He was 32 years old when they recorded Back in Black. Last year, the band went on this little tour over in the UK and Germany, Austria, different places. And I had one patron send me some raw footage. Like, it's his cell phone. He recorded it. And Brian Johnson did not sound good. I sent that to a couple of people, and they were like, no way. I mean, this has got to be over. And I did a video like, yeah, I don't know how this band is going to continue. Well, they, of course, have revamped their lineup again. And it's basically Brian and Angus and some people that you may or may not know who are in the band now. And suddenly, they sound really good. I'm getting reports from people who are going to these shows, people I live vicariously through because I have no desire to go and see most of what's out there right now. In fact, I have a completely different focus at this point when it comes to my music entertainment, and I will cover that in this video. But it appears that Brian's vocal issues are no longer an issue, or at least greatly improved over last year. So my first question about the deep fake is relevant, and it would be cool if maybe a couple of YouTube channels that do analysis of live vocals from concerts, if they would maybe sample Brian's vocals to see if they're legit. I mean, if they're legit, this is quite a recovery. And maybe they are. Maybe last year Brian was a little rusty, and he's been working out, and he's been working out the vocal cords, and he can still pull this off. I mean, it's amazing that the band has lasted this long, sounding the way they do, and that goes for Brian Johnson. Of course, he was replaced by Axl Rose for a little while there, and I'm not a fan of the AC/DC version of the band. I didn't really understand why so many people thought that was cool. I didn't. But anyway, I'm typically in the minority when it comes to this stuff. And quite honestly, I don't have a dog in this hunt. I'm somebody who is observing this, being a very, very casual fan. And honestly, I have outgrown a lot of this music. I hate to say it. I just have, and I'll cover that as well in this. Um, I just don't have any desire to go see AC/DC in concert, and there are a number of reasons for that. Number one, the music is really dark or it's filled with sexual innuendo. Now, you can go to a concert and detach yourself from that. I've had people tell me, Dave, it's just a rock anthem. For those about to rock, we salute you, right? That's innocuous. Yeah, but Evil Walks, is that innocuous from the same album? Big Jack off of their album Black Ice, which I think Black Ice sonically is one of their best albums of all time. Um, but it's described like this: a barnstorming romp laced with metaphor and innuendo. Mm. And that's nothing compared to like Hell's Bells, Highway to Hell. Um, Even You Shook Me All Night Long. Now, some of us will say, well, it's just about how loud the music is. You shook me all night long with music. That's what it's about. No, no. It's like I had this little debate with somebody about Rock You Like a Hurricane by Scorpions. I'm like, what do you think that song is about? It's not about a weather event, okay? I mean, but it's just an anthem. It's just a rock anthem now. Can't you just enjoy it for that? I guess, but no, it's just you've got these old guys running around singing about shaking you all night long. I mean, doesn't that sound a little weird and twisted and perverted a little bit, just a tad? And I'm actually just kind of hitting the tip of the iceberg a little bit here. I'm not even going down below the surface of the water. Um, Here's my point about the lyrics. At what point do older fans decouple from lyrics about sexual encounters? That's because that's what most of this stuff is about: sex, drugs, and rock and roll. One great thing about the band Journey is, for the most part, like I would say 99.5% of the time, their music was free from any of this stuff. I mean, it was inspirational music for the most part. Faith in the Heartland, Don't Stop Believing. These songs had lyrics that weren't embarrassing to you or your kids. And of course, you go to an AC/DC concert and you see like three generations. Hey, let's bring the grandkids to AC/DC. They're going to have a great time. And what are they going to see? All right, what are they going to see? It's interesting. Women in their 60s and 70s showing up dressed like young harlots with stuff hanging out, stuff that ought to be wrapped up and put away. Just being honest. I guess it's cool to pretend that aging isn't a thing, right? I mean, we'd all like to not age. We can't all be Ringo. We can't be Ringo Starr. We can't be Rick Springfield. There are certain people that don't seem to really age all that much, and it's cool. But to me, it just recalls this Bible passage, right? I know. Oh, no. Yeah. What is it? 1 Corinthians 13:11 says this: when I was a child, I spoke as a child, I felt as a child, I thought as a child. Now that I have become a man, I have put away childish things. At some point, this stuff just seems really childish, goofy, and the only thing the grunge guys had a point about is that the lyrics, and I hate to use the word misogynistic, but I'm going to use it because when I hear people say that word these days, it's typically a way to just bash someone else over the head and say they're misogynistic when they're not. But it's like a claim, it's like a racism thing, or all these different things they'll throw out there at you because you disagree with their politics or you have a different view on certain things. I think it's a healthy thing for men to like to look at attractive women, but at a certain point, it goes beyond that. This is about the stuff that goes on, obviously, or should go on behind closed doors. But I guess if you go see Motley Crue, it goes on right out in the open. And this, again, according to someone who went to see Motley Crue and told me it was like going to see a concert in Sodom or Gomorrah, and I'm just like, wow. No, I just don't have a desire to immerse myself in that. Anyway, I like old music, right? I'm old, so I like old music, but I'm far less interested in hearing these lyrics, even if the tunes are played correctly, which, again, Angus Young is a very good guitarist. He writes great hooks. He plays really cool riffs. I mean, it's danceable. It's all of the things that you would want in music, except for listening to the lyrics. And now you've got to wonder, is Brian Johnson really singing, or is he getting help? And even if he's really singing, you've got all this other stuff to deal with. Do I want to go listen to double entendres all night and look over at my wife and she says, "Oh, that's what that's about, huh?" She does that a lot. I go, "Yep, you don't even know the half of it." So, anyway, there's something that is clearly a thing of the past when it comes to the way bands write songs. Bands don't write songs like this anymore. And I'm not talking about the hooks. I'm talking about the subject matter. Now, I do complain that there's a lot of dark lyrical landscapes out there. And the darkness isn't a lot better than the innuendo. And it's weird. There's got to be other things for bands to write about. Journey figured that out. Triumph is another band that chose to write these inspirational songs rather than, feed the darkness. By the way, I checked out tickets for AC/DC at Raymond James Stadium here in Tampa. By the way, these shows are selling out. The AC/DC shows are filling up huge stadiums, and they're selling out. If I wanted to get a ticket to go see AC/DC, just one ticket at Raymond James, $325, one ticket. This is before the fees, the processing, the parking, the T-shirts, anything else that you might want to get. But just going to the show, it'd be $325. And the seats are mediocre. They're not nosebleed, but they're not like right up there. It's kind of like on the side of the stadium. Comparatively speaking, if I wanted to go on the Summer Nights Worship Tour with Brandon Lake and Phil Wickham, the tickets are $50.50 each. Now, quite honestly, I think that's still too much to pay to go see a concert. But you can get a few nosebleed seats for $26 each. That is affordable, all right? Not bad, too, considering that, your eyeballs won't be scarred by the way people are dressing. Because for the most part, you go see Brandon Lake, people are dressed normally for the most part. You may see a few things that make you go, but that's minor compared to what you'll see at an AC/DC concert or a Motley Crue concert. Bottom line here, folks, is I have no desire to attend the AC/DC style concert anymore. No desire whatsoever. It's just my opinion, right? And people can tell me about it. It was a great time. I've had patrons people I really respect and like. They're very smart about music, and I live vicariously through what they do, and then it helps me form opinions about what I'm going to talk about. But people will say, "I'm going to this tonight. I'm going to that." I'm like, yeah, okay. Bedtime for me is 10 p.m. I'm staying up late tonight. I'm going to bed at 10. I'll get up early in the morning and walk my schnauzer, and my life is great. And I look at things and I go, I'm just different. I'm a peculiar person. That's another biblical reference, right? I've always been a little peculiar. But again, 1 Corinthians 13:11 says, when I was a child, I spake as a child. I felt like a child. I thought like a child. Uh, Now that I'm a man or grown up, I've put away those childish things. And AC/DC, I don't know. I guess you can, again, like I said in this video, you can separate those things, but it's kind of like what you choose to eat and what you choose to do, right? If you're eating junk food all the time, you're going to get fat. You're going to feel unhealthy. Um, and I'm not saying AC/DC is junk food. It's kind of what's left of the classic rock world. They're boasting that they're the world's greatest rock band. And you could make an argument. Yeah, they're the world's greatest like band still standing out there. Oh, of course, the Rolling Stones are probably going to argue with you on that, but needless to say, AC/DC filling up stadiums, and maybe this is on everybody's bucket list. I'm good. I'm totally good. And one last time, someone should check out to see if Brian's actually singing. But here's my opinion on that, and then I'll wrap things up. Even if he's not really singing, people are still going to show up. Kiss opened the door to all of that and other bands. I've been doing it for many years. I have a rock star friend who told me in the early 2000s, like 2003, 2005, there were bands that had singers who had vocal issues. And what did they do? They had a track. They had a track ready to go. And all he had to do was mime to the track if he couldn't get through it. And the other guys were probably playing their parts live, but the vocals, man, this is why, the little blues bar down the road from where I live, that's where the real music happens. That's where guys just get up there, bang on their guitar, sing into a microphone that's probably not the best quality, but you're still getting authentic music. And I would rather hear and see that than pay hundreds of dollars to see someone who might be just faking it out there. So, all right, a lot to digest there, a lot to disagree with there. I know it. Some people won't disagree with me, but here's the thing. I don't need to fill my brain up with innuendo and double entendres and see people dressed as if they're 30 years younger than that, or even if they were 30 years younger and dressing like that, which I'm sure there are many of those. Yeah, that's not what I need to consume. That's my eyes don't need to deal with that. So anyway, folks, thanks for watching. I know a lot of people will disagree with me about this, but I'm just in a different place at this stage of my life. And I'm not asking anyone to be where I'm at, but that's where I'm at. So AC/DC, is it real? Is it a deep fake? Should people even go to the shows? Most people are saying, yeah, I want to go to see AC/DC. So God love you for going and spending the money. I guess it helps the economy, right?